Hello, good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you're joining us from, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Ross Law, reporter at Medical Device Network, and I will be your host for today. It is our pleasure to have you with us today to discuss why minimally invasive devices and diagnostics require innovative material solutions. Today's webinar is brought to you by Elcom Silicones, a global leader in fully integrated silicone manufacturing and a key supplier of medical-grade silicone technologies to the medtech industry. Elcom's wide range of Silbio materials are used extensively across medtech applications, from wearables and surgical devices in contact with the skin and open wounds, to short-term and long-term implants. Today's speakers include Michael Goglia, Healthcare Business Manager for Elcom. Mike has spent over 16 years at Elcom Silicones, including 10 years in sales and 6 within the healthcare management team. During this time, Mike has developed robust expertise across diverse markets, with a particular focus on managing business operations related to biocompatible materials for medical devices and pharmaceutical applications. We're also joined by Danaya Prachayanan. Danaya has been with Elcom for 9 years as a technical services representative, with the first 5 years concentrating on silicone applications across the automotive, electronics, home appliances, and aerospace sectors. In the last 4 years, Danaya has transitioned to apply her knowledge in the healthcare field, focusing on innovative silicone solutions for medical devices, drug delivery systems, and conductive materials. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar platform. This webinar is browser-based, so if you disconnect, click the link you received via email to rejoin the session. You can ask questions using the Q&A widget or by using the Ask a Question box. We'll try and get through as many of your questions as we can once the presentation has concluded. Please use the Help widget if you experience any technical difficulties or require any further assistance. And please use the related content box to access any additional resources. So, without further ado, I'll hand things over to Mike and Danaya.
Thank you, Ross. Much appreciated, and thank you everybody for joining us. We're excited to dive into this topic today and present a new innovative product that our technical team has developed here. So jumping into the topic of conversation here, so we'll touch a little bit upon Elcom Silicones, who we are, our global presence, market served, and areas of focus that we touch upon within the biocompatible silicone space. We'll then have Danaya jump into the technical side of the new product that we're launching here, a electrically conductive silicone LSR, properties, process, and then how it fits into the value chain, applications for the product, collaborations and partners we're using to launch and develop this product, and then also how Elcom fits into the sustainability value chain within medical device and silicones in general. All right, so real quick, and we'll not spend too much time on this, but I think it's good to give the picture of Elcom Silicones. So we're a global silicone manufacturer, 4,600 employees globally, roughly 1.22 billion sales in 2023, and similar in 24 and 25. We have 2 downstream manufacturing sites that actually take silicon metal, convert to chlorosilane and other intermediates that we produce in our downstream facilities, which include 14 sites around the world that we'll touch on shortly. And we also have 14 R&T and R&D centers. What makes Elcom unique is we do start from quartz, so we have the whole portion of the value chain in silicone production. We mine quartz, convert that to silicon, take that silicon and convert it to intermediates, and then formulate silicones from there. So really key in medical device, we control the whole value chain. We can be, in terms of supply continuity, it's something we really try to focus on and give our customers assurance that we'll be here for the future. Some of the end markets we support include mobility and transportation, automotive, battery technology and EVs, highly sophisticated in the healthcare space in terms of multiple technologies. We provide fluids and other intermediates into the science and chemicals industry. involved in the solar industry in terms of silicone potting for solar cells or junction boxes, and then involved in personal care, construction sealants for window glazing and other intermediates there as well. So we really touch upon anything and everything in the silicone industry today. Elchem as a company is highly focused on sustainability. We are the most carbon neutral silicone producer that exists today, and we continue to drive that forward. Last thing, we try to be very customer centric. It's a key pillar for Elchem as a company. We try to produce products for our customers and based on what the market needs. And this is a project that came about that we'll talk about here, specific to what we think is a key contributor to the industry. So as I said earlier, the R&D network, we're global. We have an R&D center in New York is where Denia sits today and where this product was developed. We also have in Saint-Fons, France, Corona, Italy, Santa Perpetua, Spain, and then 2 additional facilities in Asia as well, in Shanghai, Jingguo, and then lastly in Joinville, Brazil. So we can cover a diverse set of all the timelines that exist today and all the countries as well. So in terms of medical device or biocompatible in general, you'll see our Sylbione brand is the standard that we put out into the marketplace, and this covers multiple markets within the medical device space. So orthotics and prosthetics, so soft elastomers that are for cushioning and dampening, wound management or scar management, so silicone adhesives that go into non-traumatic wound care. We also play in the dental space in terms of dental duplication or dental replication. What we'll really be touching on today will be the diagnostics and monitoring, which we consider a advancing technology of medical device and one that we expect to continue moving forward. General advanced surgery, this covers many medical devices that you'll see within a hospital operating room or stay. Needleless valve, silicone tubing for medical drug delivery. And the last is the biopharmaceutical space, so silicone assemblies for the production of pharmaceuticals or biologics. And within all those spaces here, we have multiple technologies, whether it be liquid silicone rubber, high consistency rubber, silicone adhesives, silicone gels, fluids, lubricants, RTVs, anything you can think of there. So we'll touch on this a little bit later, but really where we're going to focus today is on a conductive silicone elastomer that Elchem has developed. We've seen a lot of demand for a product like this in the medical space, and this is really being driven by the trends in medical device. Personalized medicine continues to be a path that multiple manufacturers are going down. Keeping patients out of the hospital will ultimately keep them safer in general. It's less risk for infection, and medical devices that can be worn and monitor a patient in real time will really drive this forward. Device miniaturization, things continue to get smaller, and having a silicone instead of a combination of multiple substrates will allow miniaturization to happen faster. Focus on less invasive therapies to improve patient outcomes. Obviously, this plays in a part with personalized medicine as well. If you can monitor somebody from home instead of an outpatient or hospital setting, we can remove costs. The insurance companies like to hear that, and then provide a better outcome for the patient as well. Some of these specific areas that we'll touch on as well is biosensing. Think about a continuous glucose monitor or a wearable heart monitor, surgical robotics that continue to advance in terms of accuracy and taking the human aspect away from it, and the conductive polymers can play a huge role here. Wearable devices can be anything from your athletic watch to a biostimulation device or anything and everything that exists today. And then where AI is going, this will continue to drive further innovation that will require new materials and really be predictive in terms of a person's health moving forward. So that's my kickoff here. I'm going to pass it to Denia to really get into the technical aspects of the material.
Thanks, Mike. So before we talk about the product, I'd like to take a step back and explain our thought process of why Elcom decided to invest in creating this product. As we know, most common plastics are good electrical insulators because of their molecules are tightly bound, preventing free electrons from moving to carry an electrical current. This makes them well suited for applications like insulating wires, light fittings, circuit boards to prevent electrical shock and short circuits. So these key features, along with being low cost, lightweight, versatile in processability, they have excellent moisture and chemical resistant properties. All of these have allowed plastics to replace many traditional materials, such as metals, ceramics, glasses, and new product developments in many industries, ranging from food packaging, garments, medical implants, computers, automobiles, etc. So over time, society has then moved forward to develop electrically conductive plastic products. These are engineered materials filled with the traditional conductive additives, such as silver, gold, graphene, carbon black. Most have to be filled to a certain extent to reach a specific level of conductivity for their application. The target reasons of wanting these types of plastics are to, one, dissipate unwanted static buildup that tends to lead to mechanical failures, while two, combining that with the flexibility from the plastic world to allow engineers more design freedom, as opposed to being limited by the traditional conductive materials like metals. So because of this combination, conductive plastics are strictly neither metals nor plastics because they tend to exhibit lower conduction than metals, nor do they have the same mechanical properties as plastics. So using fillers that we have commonly heard of today, there are still many challenges that pose to today's industry that have not made conductive plastic as common as we would like to see them in today's market. One, there's still a lot of limitations to conductivity that can be achieved using carbon-based fillers. Two, it's still relatively expensive in terms of cost and weight when engineers use traditional precious metals. And with using some metals, there's a risk of oxidation and corrosion issues, especially in aluminum or copper. Loadings of fillers at higher concentrations can limit your mechanical properties, like how it can make your material become more brittle if you use too much, etc. So currently, the industry is trying to move away from precious metals because of its high costs, challenges with procurement, and flexibility limitations in the designs. So let's begin by looking at the material we decided to use. Traditional fillers, what are they? They are any fillers that are added to a naturally insulating matrix, such as polymers, ceramics, resins, silicones, which force it to become conductive when it's processed. The fillers can be in any form, really, whether it's a powder, liquid, fiber, agglomerate, so forth. How do they work? These fillers are dispersed throughout the matrix using a variety of techniques, respective to what the filler matrix is chosen. Once the filler is dispersed and cured in the network, it creates pathways of these fillers to form so that it can conduct electricity throughout the material. There's a critical amount that is needed to be reached for each type of filler and the matrix to allow that conductivity to begin. This critical point needed to be reached is called the percolation threshold. Why do we need them? New products require materials to be conductive as we head into a more technological world, and we need to have more choices that allow people to manipulate flexible materials with a benefit of it being conductive, especially in markets nowadays with growing demands such as in the healthcare and the smart technology field. So, of course, there are challenges with these traditional fillers, as I've alluded to some of it before, whether it's the high weight and cost of using precious metals or the difficulty in balancing the material's ability to process versus its final properties performance, or the scale of cost to the industrial scale is just too high. So the next question is, what are these traditional conductive filler options? First one is very common. It's carbon black, which is a fine black powder commonly used to enhance conductivity. These are the easiest filler to choose and use due to the smaller aggregates that are less volatile and just relatively cheaper for people to use. The negative is that there tends to be a high percolation threshold at high loadings. It's often found that the conductivity tends to fall over time and can be unstable in performance. Metals, such as your silver, copper, gold, nickel, aluminum, and so forth, are going to have great conductivity and be temperature resistant at the same time, but are often costly and limit the mechanical properties of your material. Third, you have carbon fibers. These are long, thin fibers composed of carbon that will increase conductivity and enhance mechanical reinforcement. They tend to be light, high strength, and high modulus. The negatives are that these will bundle and have poor dispersion and distribution. Finally, a lot of people have talked about graphene. These are 2D flat sheets of carbon atoms arranged in hexagonal lattice, allows electrons to move for excellent conductivity. These are small aggregates, not volatile, and cheaper than metals. However, still costly on an industrial scale, and higher dosing can easily lead to an increase in viscosity. So what do we have left? Carbon nanotubes. So before I introduce our product, let's dive deeper into carbon nanotubes and what they are. To give a quick general background, these were officially discovered and recorded in 1991 by Dr. Sumio Iijima. What he first witnessed were the multi-wall carbon nanotubes. These tubes are one-dimensional structures with diameters ranging from 0.4 to 25 nanometers and lengths that vary, but are shorter than 100 nanometers. Typical methods of synthesizing them are through CVD, chemical vapor deposition, electric arc discharge, and laser ablation. With these methods, there are two different categories of carbon nanotubes that you can create. I'd like to touch upon the single and multi-wall carbon nanotubes. Single wall are single layers of graphene that are less than 2 nanometers and have a conductivity of around 10 to the power of 6 Siemens per meter. These are relatively expensive to synthesize since it requires such a high level of precision. While on the other hand, multi-wall carbon nanotubes are more forgiving in making. They have multiple layers of graphene. They are greater than 2 nanometers in diameter and have 10 to the power of 5 Siemens per meter. The biggest benefit of them all is that it's an easier one to produce in bulk. So to further differentiate carbon nanotubes from graphene, since a lot can be mixed up between the two, I want to go over some key differences. Firstly, the structure of carbon nanotubes is cylindrical and one-dimensional compared to graphene, which is flat two-dimensional sheets. Carbon nanotubes are tubular structures that allow mechanical properties to be more flexible than graphene. Also, carbon nanotubes have high conductivity that ranges from 10 to the power of 5 to 10 to the power of 6, whereas graphene will be relatively fixed at the 10 to the power of 6. Yes, graphene will have that higher conductivity, but there is a higher cost involved with that. So hence, this was a decision as to why we've moved forward in developing our product using multi-wall carbon nanotubes. Now that we've talked about the fillers, let's look at the process of how we process this. 3-roll mills are the most common way to process carbon nanotubes into any dispersion due to the high shear force that comes from 3 horizontally rolls that rotate in opposite directions and speed. The material is fed in the center of the rolls where the force breaks down the agglomerates in the product. The material is subjected to additional force when the apron roll is engaged at a higher intensity. These rolls can be adjusted by controlling the speed and gap, and the gap can go as small as 0.001 inch. Now, going deeper, the shear force being applied is very important. The changes in gap size between each of the rolls are decisive factors in the process for each round of milling. Precise controlled energy input will equate to precision in processing, essentially. The high shear rolling allows the fillers to disperse into the matrix without destroying the carbon nanotube structure. Control of gap and speed will control the level of dispersion to not be oversharing the product itself. These carbon nanotubes they tend to be really strong agglomerate structures that come pretty entangled and are already more difficult in dispersing in fluid. So using a mixer or other dispersive methods may not be as successful compared to a 3-roll mill. Now that we have a general understanding of the filler and the process, we now talk about the product Elkem is excited to bring to the market today. We are thrilled to launch Silbayone LSR Select EC70 to the public. The product will come in the form of thick black paste that is processable through an injection molding machine. This material cures at 150 Celsius for 30 minutes, but will change depending on your mold shape. The durometer is set at 70 Shore A with tensile strength of around 920 psi, elongation at 250%, and a 45 ppi tear strength. The most important property for this product is the volume resistivity, which is consistently measuring out to be at around less than 5 ohms centimeter. Additionally, we are delighted to certify this product as a Silbayone grade, which means it is produced in a clean environment and backed by biocompatibility testing for any short-term healthcare application. The Silbayone brand name includes the following biocompatibility testing listed out, seen on the screen. When customers use this product, we will also provide the full support of our product stewardship on any regulatory questions you may have. Now, let's move on to the real questions on how our product performs on the market currently. So we've benchmarked our product against what is available currently, and this is how it's ranked. Our product is the highest in terms of durometer, 70 Shore A. Most of the physical properties, such as your tensile and tear, all outperform with a pot life of 72 hours upon catalyzation. Our elongation is relatively good for such a high hardness that's available on the market. There are current plans to develop a corresponding lower durometer hardness, ballparking at around 35 Shore A, to accommodate customers who want that lower hardness in the future. Another comparison that people will want to know is how does it compare to our standard Silbayone LSR technology? And we've provided that data to show you here. We compared our EC70 to our Silbayone LSR 4370, same hardness grain. As predicted, most physical properties will drop because you've added a filler as opposed to not having a filled system. Most healthcare and smart technology market applications. Then looking at the volume resistivity of our EC70 product, it outperforms competitors, consistently measuring at around 4 to 5 ohm centimeter. Currently, existing solutions are typically carbon black loaded HCRs that are difficult to process, while any conductive LSRs currently on the market are typically much higher in volume resistivity at around 50 to 75 ohm centimeter, and are generally geared more towards the industrial marketplace. Overall, though, Elchem Silicones currently has the only offering known that is in an LSR format, is biocompatible, and offers this level of conductive performance in one package. So with that, I'd like to hand it back now to Mike for him to talk about the applications in which we can use this product in.
Okay, thank you, Denai. Yeah, so we touched upon this a little bit earlier, but we see the applications and demand continuing to grow, and it's I think the options are endless at this point. So when we talk about smart technology, this could be anything from biosensing to minimally invasive monitoring, and these technologies allow us to treat patients without disruption, compared to traditional methods. A conductive silicone can get feedback from an implantable sensor, or even provide stimulation. Being that it's flexible, it can fit into places that a traditional metal or other filler cannot, and it's safe for long-term use. Very important in terms of patient comfort and safety. This will provide real-time data collection, and we can also do things such as tremor prediction or to treat Parkinson's. So there's many different areas that traditional treatments have not touched upon that we think the conductive silicone polymers can achieve. This goes along the same lines of the telehealth as well. So real-time monitoring outside of a hospital setting is going to continue to grow. We see the adoption of continuous glucose monitors that are pictured here today as one of the most widely used options today, and at the same time can be sense and deliver insulin as well instead of giving a shot. We also see the usage of heart monitoring, so capturing heart rhythm and heart data, and providing real-time feedback to doctors that way. And then we touched upon when you go into medical device, this is very broad, obviously. We've seen applications that can use conductive elastomers that touch upon oral devices. So the treatment of gum disease is one potential application where an electrical stimulation can be provided through a conductive silicone polymer and provide healing properties through that. Surgical robotics, where we can develop flexible circuits within a surgical robot, do precise surgical procedures, and without limiting movement that traditional materials can do. And then, as I touched on targeted therapies, I think this will continue to grow, especially in pain management. The usage of pharmaceuticals has been highly scrutinized. And I think using a conductive polymer to provide stimulus to certain areas for pain treatment, such as the back or a neck, can provide a treatment that didn't exist before without the harmful side effects that pharmaceuticals can deliver. So next I'm going to touch upon, Elchem is a raw material supplier, so we rely on silicone fabricators to support our end customers and OEMs needs, and one that has been promoting and using the conductive LSR 70 is ProMed Solutions in Minnesota. So ProMed is a contract manufacturer involved in silicone LSR injection molding, extrusion, drug delivery applications, micro molding, assemblies. A little bit of everything that touches the medical device field. Several sites throughout the U.S., with the main site being in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area. They can do prototyping with this material for short-term effectiveness and see how it can be used in your applications, as well as large-scale production capability also. So if needed, we can provide their contact information. We also have many other partners that we're working with on the same product that can also be given as well. So don't hesitate to reach out and contact us for those purposes. Okay, the last area we're going to touch upon is sustainability, and this is a key key pillar, as I stated earlier, of Elchem as a company. We want to be the best in terms of environmental responsibility, and the Circle brand is how we portray that. So one of the first aspects is traceability and transparency. We find this very important for our customers. So with our Foot SI tool that we have developed internally, we can accurately provide an exact carbon footprint by the product. So if a customer is buying one specific material from us, such as the EC70 LSR, we can give you the exact impact that has on the carbon footprint and provide that information to you in a letter format, and I use that for your sustainability efforts. It's a key to be completely transparent with our customers is key for Elchem, and this is another way we can provide that data for you. And this takes into account, I guess, going back to the raw materials from silicon metal all the way through the value chain that we are involved in here. All right, the next portion of sustainability for Elchem is a circular economy and eco-friendly design of silicones. So there's several different portions of this. So sourcing of raw materials. So where we can, we are sourcing bio-based raw materials, whether that be methanol or potentially recycled packaging, or other areas that we can take add sustainability to the value chain that's not within our direct raw material control. The next part would be processing. So low SVHC and cyclics released into the environment is key for Elchem moving forward, and we've taken great strides to reduce that across our product line, and that will continue as we progress. Waste management, doing more with less, recycled water, whatever we can do in the process of the value stream in production of silicone. Reducing transportation and distribution, so keeping our suppliers closer to Elchem to reduce the impacts on the carbon footprint via transit. We're also trying to be closer to our customers as well, so where possible, instead of shipping material from the U.S. to Europe or Europe to the U.S., we're trying to produce locally and reduce that impact on the customers as well, and also improve efficiency and delivery times. We are, in everything we're doing moving forward, we are concentrating on formulations that are sustainable as well. So using energy efficient technologies, alternative materials where available that are not impactful on the environment. And the last one is end of life, and this is I think this is a harder topic for healthcare because of the biocompatibility aspect, but still key to Elchem as a whole. So we are involved in the recycling of silicones on the industrial scale and putting those back into the value chain, extending the life cycle of materials. So we're also looking to, if we can extend shelf life on existing materials, we will do that where possible instead of leading to scrap waste that's not necessary. And then chemical and mechanical recycling, where I think we are at the forefront of that today, and taking materials back from our customers in some cases and reusing them in other portions of our production environment. So just closing this out, this is the loop and where we consider the circle. We are trying to take into every product we develop moving forward will have this mentality in mind, and the EC conductive LSR is no different. We want to be at the forefront of sustainability and environmentally friendly manufacturing. And there will not be a compromise on performance or cleanliness or biocompatibility. And we just want to put our best foot forward in helping the environment and reducing the impact. So lastly, in closing, you can find our contact info below. So myself, Mike Goglio, available for anything in terms of discussions on the conductive LSR. Anita Clark is my counterpart supporting the Americas. Lisbeth Lensanger is also supporting the European market and can be available for discussions as well. And lastly, you'll find Anaya's contact information here on the technical side. You'll also see the QR code here, which can be scanned and bring you directly to the some of the literature that we shared here within this presentation on the EC conductive LSR. It also can take you to additional literature on some of the other biocompatible biomedical solutions that Alchem offers. So in closing, thank you for attending the webinar. Very much appreciated. And yeah, we're looking forward to your questions and hoping that we can answer in any way possible.
Okay, well, Mike, Danaya, thank you very much for both of your presentations. And just a reminder for the audience, to ask any questions, please send them in via the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We already have some questions that have come in. So how about we start with this one here. What are the cure conditions for the Sylbione Select LSR EC70? Mike, Danaya, feel free to jump in.
Danaya, I'll let you handle that one.
Yeah, I'll take it, Mike. So the current standard conditions for EC70 is 150 degrees Celsius, 30 minutes. That's based on making ASTM slab, 4-inch by 4-inch with thickness of around 2 millimeters. Of course, the curing conditions will vary according to the mold and shape of the part that you want to use it in. Yep.
We have a quick follow-up to that question. What level of regulatory support is available?
Yeah, I can take that. Yeah, sure thing. So our Sylbione brand, under that brand, we test to ISO 10993 or Class 6 standards. So we can provide regulatory attestations for this material and all of our Sylbione materials, which states what testing was conducted and that we passed those tests. In addition, we also have on-staff toxicologists, on-staff product stewardship support that can be available for additional discussions or any other questions that may arise in terms of commercialization on the customer side, OEM questions, EHS questions, any and everything that you can think of on the regulatory side.
Nice. Thanks, Mike. Just looking at our question bar, and we have just had another one come in. What is the shelf life of the material?
Shelf life is 2 years.
Yeah, so 24 months.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Okay, there's another one here. How does one obtain a sample of the conductive LSR?
So I'll take that one, Danaya. So it would be best to make contact with myself, Elizabeth, or Anita. We can then put you in contact with your local sales support, discuss the opportunity more, and what solution would best fit what you're looking for. Whether you're looking for wet samples, cured samples, talk a little bit more about your device, make sure that this material fits the application, and go that route. So please reach out, make contact to us via email, and we'll immediately get back and get the ball rolling to provide samples or further direction.
Thanks, Mike. Another one here. Do conductive properties after being cured change over time?
I'll take that
give
one.
that one to you. Yep.
Yeah. So once the conductive silicone is cured, eventually it will change over time. However, we found that our EC70 is more stable in the conductive properties compared to other solutions out in the market. We've measured the volume resistivity over a period of 6 months. It has not dropped. We are still conducting tests beyond that, but we are very confident that with our product, it does not drop compared to other solutions from what I've seen and tested.
And I think it is, yeah, I mean, it will be dependent on the size of the object or the
Yes.
application it's going into. So it's we can help with that process as well if needed.
Absolutely.
Thanks both. Have another one here. Why silicones over other conductive polymers?
Denai, do you want to take that from the technical aspect or?
Yeah, I mean, you can hop in whenever as well,
Okay.
Mike. So, in general, silicone, since we're in the healthcare market, silicones are more biocompatible with a lot of short-term healthcare applications compared to other types of polymers, resins, epoxies out there. And so having that aspect and merging the added benefit of it being electrically conductive, it opens up a lot more possibilities in developing medical devices, especially as we head into a much more technological world. So,
Yeah,
Mike, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think silicone in terms of biocompatibility, it's probably one of the most studied materials, polymers that exist today. It's highly scrutinized in the past and found to be one of the best and most inert materials compared to reactivity with the body. So it's great for prolonged skin contact or even implantables, right? So while today this material is not approved for greater than 29-day implantable, we could see a world where it could easily be used in that. That's open for discussion as well. So there's areas that we think this provides a solution that other polymers don't meet today. And also the physical performance combined with the conductivity is somewhat unique as well. So the elongation and the tear resistance being filled and conductive compared to other polymers that exist today, we think is an added benefit also.
Thanks both. Can you speak about what processing parameters are recommended?
To process this material from the customer side, I mean, it'll be.
I think so. Yeah, the question just says which processing parameters are recommended. So
okay,
I guess
that's
take
okay.
that as you will.
Yeah, I'll take it from the customer side. Mike, feel free to add anything if I'm missing anything.
No, I think that makes sense. I think it's more taking it from an injection molding side, right? And how that.
Okay.
Or maybe not.
The recommendation is for any customers who want to process the material is to simply start with the parameters as if you're going to injection mold a regular LSRs. You're going to have to play around with the parameters on your pressure, your cycle time, your temperature, all of that in order to see what actually will suit the shape that you're trying to mold. So it's going to be a bit of touch and go, but that is like every LSR technology out there too.
We just have a few more questions. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Just going back to that, I mean, I think something really unique about this material and LSR in general is that as manufacturing technology advances, not just material functionality develops, this material lends itself well to automation. So you can produce highly sophisticated or complex parts in an automated environment where traditionally a lot of the conductive materials or conductive solutions that exist today are more manual in nature. So, automated cell can easily be set up for this type of product, produce parts on a mass scale. with high precision and low labor. So it really lends itself to automation and manufacturing moving forward.
Thank you both. We just have a few final questions. First one is the conductive filler uniformly dispersed in the silicone matrix?
Naya, that one's for you.
Yes. As I've touched upon, yes, using a 3-roll mill is the best option to ensure that it's fully mixed. There are methods to verify the dispersion of the carbon nanotubes in our silicone matrix, but most of the time you can tell how fully dispersed is just with the volume resistivity test method. You can see if you take certain parts out of, certain sections of the material of the batch that you make, and you test the conductivity. If it's all ballparking the same volume resistivity, it's pretty dispersed. But if you start seeing, a variation that's extremely high and extremely low, then you start having to question that it's not fully dispersed. But with our product, we've patented the process of how we disperse the carbon nanotubes, and we've ensured that it is very well dispersed for the final product.
Correct. Yeah, I think the process itself lends it to be uniformly distributed and provide consistent resistivity and conductivity across the web or part that's made there.
Thanks both. Just a final question. Can the LSR be overmolded onto other substrates or electronics?
I think Denai, feel free to jump into, but it's going to be substrate dependent. Silicones in some cases can easily be overmolded. In other cases, they can't. I think what makes this material unique could be the overmolding of sensitive plastic. So we can cure this material at a very low temperature if necessary. So it would allow, ease of overmolding with materials that can't handle, the typical 170C that traditional LSRs usually require. So, we can go down to 80 or 100C if necessary with this current technology. I do think we can get bonding to various plastics or other materials too with this product, and that could involve surface treatment or primers potentially, and it could not. Definitely substrate dependent, application dependent, and we can offer some guidance there depending on what the overmolding material is and what you're looking to do. Did I miss anything on that?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, both. We don't have any more questions, so we'll end our session there. That just leaves me to thank Denai and Mike for their presentations and discussions today. To the attendees, you'll receive an email tomorrow telling you how you can access the on-demand version of this webinar, or you can access this through the website www.arena-international.com/events. Please continue to ask questions and vote in polls or interact with the widgets as the on-demand version remains interactive. Thank you once again, and I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated.